Bayou Times Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Mike Detaille with Cade Klubnik, the starting quarterback at Clemson, and this is your second time to Manning, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I came last year.
What brings you back for another year here?
Oh, man, it was an easy choice. You know, Archie Manning texted you to come to the Manning Passing Academy.
It's hard to turn down, aren't you?
You can't
right?
turn that one down. So, yeah, I'm just, super excited to learn from two of the best quarterbacks in the history of football. Excited to be around some of the best quarterbacks in college football and just learn their stories, learn what they've gone through and how I can learn from them. And I knew we were going to have a special guest this year and excited to learn from Coach Gruden as well. So, but just there's nothing else like this. You can't replicate it. So just really, really thankful to be here.
You made a lot of strides from your sophomore next year, and I thought from your setup, your delivery, you were much more comfortable in the pocket. Is that something that you thought also?
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a stride I was trying to make. My presence in the pocket was definitely big that I wanted to take a step in. And, I took a few steps in my game last year for my sophomore and my junior year, but still just trying to get better. I'm not at all satisfied with where I'm at. And, I've got a long way to go still, so I'm trying to get better.
So I'm doing LSU pregame. We're watching South Carolina, Clemson. The whole room's pulling for Clemson. Man, they can't stand South Carolina, so they were pulling for you that day. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Tigers got to stick with Tigers, I guess. So,
yeah, you got to stick with it. This year, to start the season, no question, the game, everybody's kind of got circled early on. LSU, Clemson, you got these Tigers in your backyard.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm excited to start at home. I've never every season opener that I've had in college has been on the road, so I'm excited to be in Death Valley and be at home for that one. And obviously excited for them to come to our place, and it's gonna be a great game. They're a great team that had a lot of success last year, especially with a great quarterback like Garrett. So excited for that one, but really excited for all of our games that we have this year. To me, that game is, week 2 is no less important than week 1 in my mind. So I've got to treat every game like it's the biggest game of the year.
To get into the playoffs last year and to make that run, it's great, but you want to go farther. I mean, you want to win the big prize, and man, for a while, had them on the ropes.
Yeah, that's what we would all love to do, but just trying to really just take it one game at a time. It's a long season, so I got to kind of keep our head down and just go to work, and by the end of it, somebody's going to tap us on the shoulder and tell us it's over. So.
And then, your career continues on into the National Football League. Tell us a little bit something about Coach that maybe nobody really knows a lot about, because we see him on television and he's full of excitement and everything, but a little bit about him and, kind of how he handles things behind the scenes.
Man, Coach Sweeney's awesome. He's one of my favorite people I've ever been around. He is truly one of a kind. He loves his players. He loves his teammates, or his coaching staff. He really cares for everybody. He's hired every single person in that facility, and the way he cares for everybody. But he has everybody's best interest, and he's not afraid to tell you the truth either, which is really, really good. Because I think you have some coaches that'll just love you all the time, even when you need to be coached.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to really coach somebody, and I really appreciate that. Because at the end of the day, I want to be my best self. And if I have somebody that's, not want to coach me hard, then how am I going to become my best self? So he's not afraid to tell you the truth, and that's something I really appreciate about him. But he can come coach you really, really hard on the field, and then sit down and have a meal with you for an hour, and you love to do it. So
that's a big reason why you came to Clemson, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Just his reputation. At the end of the day, I want to go win football games, and just the culture that he's built. So
Oh, I wish you the best of luck other than game one, because I know, come on, you play, but it's not afraid to say go Tigers either way, right?
Appreciate that. Yeah, go Tigers.
We're with LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett, saw you last year. You were excited. First year as a starter, you did a great job. But we've seen at LSU that second year jump. If it's been with Joe, if it's been with Jaden Daniels, and I think the same thing will happen with you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I'm focused on me. I'm not Jaden Daniels. I'm not Joe Burrow. I'm Garrett Nussmeier, and so I'm going to be the best Garrett Nussmeier that I can be for the LSU Tigers. So.
How it is to have your dad back in Louisiana, not far away. So
yes, sir.
Not that the phone calls for, not with the cell phone, but you get to see him a lot more.
No doubt. Yes, sir. It's been awesome. Just having to be able to come by and go to the regional baseball game and things like that. He's so close. It's been a really cool experience, and so God is so good. We're so blessed, and so I'm very thankful.
One of the big question marks for LSU this year, you got 4 linemen all went to the NFL.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened since 1947, so that's a new front for you. But Caden, Durham back in the back for you, and hopefully a healthy Chris Hinton.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, we got some guys that are going to step up. Will, Emery, and Garrett and Miles. They set an example and they set an expectation. And I think the young guys in that room have really stepped up. And they've accepted that expectation. Obviously we have some transfers as well in that room. And so, I think Coach Davis does an unbelievable job of holding them to that expectation.
The tight end last year and Tradez, he showed, because he's kind of a freak athlete. That's not a lot of guys that tall, and it's hard sometimes to overthrow him. But your thought on his growth this spring at LSU?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. He's done an unbelievable job. It's just like me having a full season to be able to watch and find your weaknesses, find your mistakes, and be able to grow from them. I think he's done an unbelievable job of being honest with himself on things he needs to work on and things like that. And I think he's going to have a really big year. He's an unbelievable talent. And he's going to play football for a really long time.
I know you've gotten to be pretty good friends with Arch Manning, and his first year, too, as really a full-time starter here. Any advice that you gave Arch?
Yeah, I mean, we chop it up all the time, so, I'll keep that between us on what we say.
That's
but
fine.
He's a good dude. I'm rooting for him big time, and, I think he's going to do unbelievable things this year.
One of the things is, I think in the transfer portal, you always have new receivers, so it's getting some confidence in him and also rapport with those receivers. Was that something you worked on quite a bit this offseason?
Yeah, absolutely. In this new era of college football with all these transfers, that's the most important thing is just, developing and becoming close and creating relationships within your locker room. And so that's something that's been a big focus for us and something that, we'll continue to work on.
Bayou Sharp coming in. First time I saw him, he's at Southeastern.
Yes, sir.
And my deal is he ain't staying at Southeastern for too much longer, and he ends up going to Oklahoma, and now it's with you. Kind of give us maybe a little thumbnail breakdown of
he's an unbelievable player. He's got a great mindset. He attacks every single day, and he's somebody who's ready to run his head through the wall. And so I think that type of aggression and that type of explosive ability that he has is something that'll definitely contribute to our offense, and I think people are going to be surprised at how good he is.
Okay, you got to play against him in the spring. Is DJ Pickett everything everybody says he is as a freshman?
Anything and everything you've heard is correct. That dude is a special talent. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to help us for sure, and I'm very excited for him. And he is going to play football as well for a very long time, and I think he's going to be a true elite cornerback.
How many 6'4" corners have you ever seen?
Not a lot. He looks like a different animal out there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Garrett, congratulations on what you did last year. Looking for big things again for the Tigers this year, but win that first game against Klubnik. I was just talking to him.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's good seeing you. Yes,
Thanks so much, Garrett.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.